The Chiefs did it 25 years without winning a home playoff game until today. It's been nearly half a century since the St. Louis Blues have been in the Stanley Cup final, and you can certainly feel that excitement here in St. Louis. Seymour only one win away now from a state title, and this is who they're playing for. The whole team added pictures to this poster board as motivation for the state tournament. Because of her father's recent heart attack surgery, he was only wearing the seatbelt on the lower half, not on top because of the incision. So on impact, his body went in front of Leslie's airbag, blocking what would have likely been a fatal blow. The St. Louis Blues take the 3-2 lead over the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup final. Last night's game carried a lot of weight because now the Blues can win the whole thing on home ice Sunday in Game 6. Can't believe it's Week 7 already, but check this out. These guys are giving ESPN's College Game Day a run for their money. Goblin Game Day. It's halftime of the final game here tonight, and I don't know if Mason can pan over and show you the kind of crowd that's still here. I don't know if you know this, but I just found out earlier today that the Harrison Goblins are the only Goblin mascot in the nation.
Something changed.
So yeah, it's really weird. We were talking about jerseys earlier, and you just inspired me.
How nice would it be to get a sweep for the Finleys tomorrow?
That would be pretty nice. Pretty awesome.
That was last year's state semifinals, the Finley brothers battling for titles, not knowing Michael was about to face an opponent bigger than any weight class.
I remember taking Michael's hand and crying and praying and crying and praying.
What started as the flu quickly turned into a staph infection, pneumonia, and a couple weeks later, he had a double lung transplant. Michael was on life support for 51 days.
In that time frame, none of the doctors thought he was going to make it.
After 4 months, Mike was released from the hospital. While his survival was incredible, his battle toward recovery was long from over.
It's harder to do things like walk around, walk to my room, go to the bathroom.
From small steps to big strides in recovery, Michael says the hardest part now is starting to work out again.
It's really hard, and I don't like to do it, but if I want to feel physically better, even if I don't be able to wrestle, I have to do it.
Mike wasn't able to get back to wrestling this season, but he's part of the team in a different way.
All I do is shoot a single every time.
As one of the coaches, and he thinks keeping the team close is helping him get through during his recovery.
And it's also made me miss it more, but yeah, it's helped me. I get to come in here after being home all day and hang out with them and talk to them, so.
You know, he really doesn't say much, but whenever he knows how you wrestle, he'll speak up. He's a pretty good coach.
Michael's younger brother, Christian, said he's dedicating this season to his brother.
Knowing he's there and knowing he's watching, you don't want to disappoint him, especially because he never disappointed you when he wrestled.
In 1 year, Michael's life has changed entirely.
Anywhere I go, someone knows who I am, so it kind of feels weird because I don't know who they are, and they come up, and give me a hug.
His motivation is no longer a state championship. It's something bigger.
It's for me, but it's not for me at the same time. Like, it's for everyone else, to show everyone else that you can do whatever when things get bad.
Sports with Taylor Kauffman starts now.
Ahead of the final regular season game against the Chargers, the Chiefs were looking at a 2, 3, or 4 seed for the playoffs. To get a 2 seed, Kansas City would need a couple things to happen. They'd need to beat the Chargers, and they'd need the Patriots to lose to a 5-11 Miami Dolphins team. First, the Chargers. Patrick Mahomes up against veteran quarterback Phillip Rivers. But old Phil had a tough time today with the Chiefs' defense. Kansas City leading by 3 late in the first half, and Rivers has a chance to go up before halftime, but Tyrann Mathieu picks it off in the end zone. The Chargers go back up after a quick touchdown to start the second half. Mecole Hardman back to receive, and he takes off from the end zone, turns on the Jets. Hardman slips through some Chargers and takes it 104 long, beautiful yards into the end zone. The Chiefs go up 17-14. The Chiefs defense again here. Rivers looking at 3rd and 11, and Terrell Suggs breaks through and takes him down. His first sack is a Chief, his 139th in his career, to put him 8th on the all-time sack list. The Chiefs reward that stop with a monster run from Damian Williams. He finds the seam and takes off for 84 yards into the end zone. The only guy that can catch him is this guy right here, Tyreek Hill. And the Chiefs make this one a game to remember. Back to a three-point game with under 3 minutes to go. Damian Williams gets the handoff again, and he fights, staying on his feet. It's a touchdown. Meanwhile, the Patriots and Dolphins have been back and forth in the other 12 o'clock game. As the Chiefs scored that touchdown, this is what happens in Foxborough. The Patriots up 3 with 29 seconds left, and Ryan Fitzpatrick finds Mike Gesicki in the end zone for the go-ahead score. Gillette Stadium getting real quiet at this point as the Dolphins knock off the Patriots, and back at Arrowhead, the place erupts. The fans know what just happened. The Chiefs beat the Chargers 31-21 to secure the 2 seed and first round bye, and the Patriots will head to the wild card round for the first time since 2009.
All in all, great game.
So here's what things look like. The Baltimore Ravens are the 1 seed in the AFC. The Chiefs are the 2 seed. Kansas City will face the highest winning seed from the AFC wild card round, which could be the Patriots if they beat Tennessee, or the Houston Texans if they outlast the Bills. And we have a little break in holiday basketball tournaments. The blue and gold and pink and white championships are tomorrow, as well as some other tournaments around the area. Find everything you need for those holiday tournaments right here on the Ozone. Just click this holiday tournament update tab at the top of the page. You have all of your scores, as well as photos and recaps and extended highlights. Again, that's all here on OzarkSportsZone.com.
I finally adjusted come this season, but I struggled summer ball. It was complicated.
To know Lauren Turner is to know her past.
I came home, I knew something was wrong right away.
August 10th, 2017 became a day she wishes never happened.
They said there was a wreck, so we just hopped in and we went, but I just knew. I called all my friends immediately. I was like, pray right now.
Aside from some rain, it was a normal morning. Lauren's dad, Jim, was taking her little sister to an orthodontist appointment. But on the way, the car ran head-on into a tractor trailer. Still alive, but barely, her sister Leslie was airlifted to Springfield.
She wasn't supposed to live. When I got there, I came upon the crash scene, and I didn't think anybody could survive that.
Lauren's dad died in the accident, and from that point on, Lauren's life would never be the same.
She lost her best friend.
I'm not kidding. I used to tell my dad all the time, I'm like, I'm gonna end up in an insane asylum if anything ever happens to you. I'm not kidding. I was like, something's going to happen to me if something happens to you.
Lauren and her father were inseparable. One thing they shared was a love for softball.
From the time she was a little toddler, Jim put that ball in her hand, and she had the love for this game.
A father's dream to one day watch his daughter play college ball, and it was now taken away from Lauren.
It was going to continue to be a daddy's girl even through college. He was going to go wherever I went.
But after the accident, Lauren wasn't thinking about her future. She was thinking about her sisters, hoping that meant another day.
Losing 2 of the most important people in my life, like 2 of my biggest supporters too. Leslie always had my back. We'd fight like cats and dogs, but she always had my back, and so did my dad, so it was crazy that I could possibly lose them both.
But time continued. With her dad gone and her sister in a coma, she tried to hold on to any sense of normalcy, and for her, that was softball.
After the wreck, I bawled. I've cried probably before every single game, but I knew that I was doing the right thing at first, and then something just didn't feel right after a while.
She tried. She started out, she had already had 5 home runs last year. 2 of them were grand slams in 4 games.
Lauren was playing for her dad, and she was hitting better than ever.
If you don't want it, don't be out there. He said that all the time. He said, if you don't want to be out there, don't be out there. So he's like, if you want to, you better work hard. So I did. I went out and I worked hard.
Until eventually, it was too much.
It was physically making her sick. She was throwing up.
And Lauren had to make a decision.
I knew I was going to disappoint a lot of people.
She came home and literally bawled that whole entire night. And she asked me if I'd be mad at her. And I said, Lauren, I'm not going to be mad at you.
I knew that if I spent all my time on the softball field and something were to happen with Leslie, I would have kicked myself in the butt for the rest of my life if I chose a softball field over being with my sister. So
she chose to step away from the game that her dad taught her and used to give her so much joy.
It was hard leaving the field for sure, just because I knew it was our last year of pure talent and being able to go out there and get after it all the time.
The truth is, despite everything, Lauren wanted to play softball last season.
She'd say to me, she's like, you know, I just hope Dad's not looking down and disappointed at me. You know, I hope he's proud of the decision, you know, that I made.
It was a decision many people didn't understand. How could Lauren leave the game that she and her dad loved so much?
Everybody was putting a lot of pressure on her, stating, do it for your dad, do it for your dad.
Like, people ask me why I left. My dad wouldn't want that. He would want me to be with my sister.
Because Leslie was also in the accident, and she survived. It was in Jim Turner's final act on Earth that Lauren lives to honor. Because of her father's recent heart attack surgery, he was only wearing the seatbelt on the lower half, not on top because of the incision. So on impact, his body went in front of Leslie's airbag, blocking what would have likely been a fatal blow.
You know, Lauren found that out too. So it's just the impact of knowing her daddy was a hero and, you know, but her sister survived. She feels responsible now, you know, for Leslie. There she is right there, number 9. Hey, Les.
And how we see Leslie today is totally different from where she was a year ago. 3.5 weeks in a coma and 4 months in the hospital in St. Louis with total paralysis to her left side.
Driving back home, always, from the hospital. I mean, I would scream. I tried my best never to sleep alone. I always had a friend with me, always. Because I just would wake up and I'd lose my mind.
It was a long, tiring process, but Lauren didn't leave her sister's side. And after months of rehab, Leslie began to walk again. So again, Lauren turned to her father.
I knew that getting back out there is what he wanted, so as soon as I knew Leslie was okay, I was ready to go back.
But that didn't mean things were back to normal. Leslie's brain injury had lingering effects on Lauren.
I don't tell a lot of people this, but one of the big reasons why I feel like I just needed to get away from the team in general was just because I was supposed to take Leslie that morning, but I couldn't because of practice.
And of course, it affected Leslie too.
There's times that I still get really emotional about it just because I can't even imagine how she feels as a person. Being the cool, athletic one at school and then kind of being an outcast now because no one really treats her the way she used to be treated, I guess.
This isn't what the Turners had planned for this year. As a freshman, Leslie was finally able to share the field with her sister before she graduated. But Leslie can't play, and their dad isn't there to see it.
There's times where I'm still like about to step on the field and I'm just like, just relax, like play for him. Because there's times it still just hits me. It absolutely destroys me.
I know how proud he is of her. And I just miss that bond that they have. And I wish I could replace it, but, you know, I try, but I'm not daddy. Come on, babe.
Before the accident, Lauren's dad would never miss a game. But now, instead of looking for her father, Lauren finds comfort in the sight of something else.
I look for a butterfly. That sounds crazy, but just tell myself to relax, that he's there.
A small and delicate symbol providing strength to an already strong woman. Reporting from Cassville, I'm Taylor Kauffman.